Tonight at 6, an emotional day in court as new evidence was released against a man accused of a DUI crash that killed a toddler.
Why are we telling families that this is why their loved one passed when we can't even say that for sure?
The controversy over excited delirium as a medical diagnosis, and
honoring the fallen at the annual Reconnaissance Challenge at Camp Pendleton.
Day 2 in Mexico City.
From helping local kids in the community to getting their first look at this beautiful stadium, a report on our San Diego Padres.
And meet the U.S. Equestrian Junior Rider of the Year, Skylar Wireman.
CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts now.
A San Diego man will be tried on murder and DUI charges in the death of an 18-month-old little girl who was hit on the road in City Heights. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. Prosecutors played surveillance video showing the crash at a preliminary hearing today. As CBS 8's David Gottfredson reports, officers testified the driver's blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit.
Surveillance video played in court from September 2022 shows 3 children walking through an alley toward the street and 18-month-old Annalie Rodarte, seen in white, following behind, right before the little girl is struck in the road by a hit-and-run driver. This is home video of Annalie that her family previously gave to CBS 8. She died in the hospital hours after the collision. We are not airing the surveillance video of the actual collision, but another surveillance camera captured the driver of a Toyota 4Runner right after leaving the scene of the accident. Here you can see a neighbor jump in his car and chase after the driver. He caught up to him, recording his license plate number and a confrontation a short time later.
Atropellaste a la niña. ¿Cuál niña? Te la acabas de atropellar.
Thanks to the quick thinking of that neighbor, officers arrested Margarito Vargas and found his SUV with an open container of alcohol inside.
The open 24-ounce Modelo can in the center console.
3 hours after the collision, a breath test showed he still had a blood alcohol level of 0.246, more than 3 times the legal limit. During today's preliminary hearing, a detective testified there can be little doubt that Vargas would have known he hit someone.
Well, first of all, you should see it. You would feel it. We saw in the video there was a rather drastic rise of the bumper. You would definitely feel that. We also saw the brake lights come on, and that's proven that that's a reaction.
The officer also testified there was blood and a white material found on the SUV.
It was a jelly-like substance that I felt I recognized.
What did you recognize it to be?
A baby's diaper.
In the end, the judge bound Vargas over for trial. He'll be back in court on May 18th. If convicted of the second-degree murder charge, Vargas faces 15 years to life in prison. At the downtown courthouse, David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
All right, David, thank you. A group representing San Diego City employees is celebrating what they call a legal victory after the city settled a lawsuit surrounding the now rescinded COVID-19 vaccine mandate. The group PERC represents hundreds of employees, including workers from San Diego Fire Rescue and the San Diego Police Department. It says the mandate forced people out of both departments, compromising safety in the city.
Moving forward, our hope is that in the future, our leaders, our bosses, choose to think twice before they try to force things upon us that is not necessarily the correct things to force upon us. So this is a great victory.
This settlement and another similar one cost the city $100,000. PERC says the money will go toward covering legal fees. The San Diego Police Officers Association says it expects many of the police officers who resigned over the mandate to return to the job.
A man who used to live in Chula Vista is now in a jail in Europe accused of vandalizing the historic Anne Frank home in Amsterdam with anti-Semitic symbolism.
We last told you about Robert Wilson in 2021 when he pleaded not guilty to one felony count of battery and a hate crime allegation here after prosecutors said he yelled slurs and hit a gay neighbor.
CBS 8's Jesse Began is following this story for us tonight with what we're learning from police overseas. Jesse.
Yeah, guys, so after pleading not guilty in that local case here, the district attorney here in San Diego issued a bench warrant because he did not show up for his trial. That's when they issued that, and that's when they actually found out he had fled the U.S. and gone to Europe.
Did you do what they say you did?
I didn't do anything.
This is video of Wilson when CBS 8's David Gottfredson confronted him outside court here in 2021. Now, Dutch police tell us officials in Poland arrested him this Tuesday, accusing him of using lasers to project anti-Semitic words and symbols on the historic Anne Frank house in Amsterdam. Dutch investigators say pictures of the projection spread on Telegram, and during their investigation, they say they traced all of it back to Wilson and asked Polish officials to help serve a search warrant and arrest him in his home in Poland.
He is a provocateur. He's what we might refer to as a First Amendment provocateur. Pushes the envelope on the First Amendment.
Anti-Defamation League Incident Response Director Matthew Brown says Wilson's antics here put him on their radar. The Anne Frank Foundation, which operates the home as a museum and landmark, says the text read, quote, Anne Frank, inventor of the ballpoint pen. It's a reference to a conspiracy theory claiming Anne's diary, and by extension the Holocaust, is fake because it was written in pen. The ADL is now thanking European officials for arresting Wilson there.
It's a demonstration of the international effort to fight hate, and we're grateful to the Polish and the Dutch authorities.
Now, all of these accusations about what Wilson did are just that at this point, accusations, because he never made it to that trial here and he still hasn't been tried in Europe. At this point, Dutch police say Amsterdam's version of the district attorney has requested Wilson be turned over to them to continue in the process.
In less than 24 hours, our San Diego Padres will face the San Francisco Giants in Mexico City for a historic matchup.
Yeah, game time tomorrow is at 3:05 our time, but CBS 8 is already there covering everything you need to know. Our Shannon Handy and Jake Garriani are in Mexico City right now with fans very eager for some action.
Well, thank you very much, and welcome inside of Estadio Alfredo Harp Palou, the stadium in which the Padres will play their historic matchups against the Giants this weekend. And Shannon, it has been a whirlwind for our Friars. Think about the travel they have been doing. They played a 4-game series in Arizona, got on a plane, flew to Chicago, played a 3-game series against the Cubs, immediately got on a plane after their game, flew here to Mexico City, landed around 1 a.m., got to their hotel around 3 a.m., and then today was supposed to be their off day, but instead they were out in the community.
Yeah, it wasn't an off day for a lot of the players. They actually held a baseball clinic for some of the kids here in Mexico City, and this was not a mandatory event yet. A lot of the players on the team, some big names, came out to support this event, even some alum, and just to see the looks on those kids' faces, it was so heartwarming, so inspiring. Take a look. Imagine being a kid and having Manny Machado throw grounders to you. Or stretching with Joe Musgrove.
Oh yeah, my favorite one.
How about getting an autograph from Luis Garcia? That's exactly what happened at a baseball clinic held today at a Little League complex in Mexico City. Current and former players, including Hall of Famer Trevor Hoffman, took part, saying in addition to playing against the Giants in a 2-game series this weekend, connecting with these young athletes is what it's all about.
We represent the Padres when we're down here and anywhere we go, really. So this was an optional, completely optional event, and we had a good turnout with some of the bigger names on the team getting out here and getting involved. And you know, we want to do right by the Padres and represent them well. So we feel like we're, you know, we're happy to get the opportunity to come out here.
More than 200 kids took part in today's clinic, sponsored by the Padres, with the help of local organizations, including the YMCA. They were all gifted City Connect jerseys, a symbol of the cross-border connection we have with Mexico.
Man, they've been doing calisthenics before we got here, and everyone's wearing Tatis's jerseys everywhere at the City Connect, so it's a fabulous day.
Over on a different field, Juan Soto shared his expert advice and watch some of the older kids at bats. It's a day these kids will likely never forget.
It's really nice to be here because I'm a fan of Juan Soto.
And one that's just as memorable for the players who used to be in their shoes.
Of it, it's where everything starts, you know?
everybody has to come through all these and be part of that. And more than glad to be here to help them out.
And you saw those City Connect jerseys the kids have on. Well, guess what? Tomorrow, the Padres players will be sporting those same jerseys right here on the field. And by the way, Jake, and you saw this in that story, a lot of those kids, including a lot of girls, their talent, amazing.
There's a couple people poking it out of the yard, and I was like, okay, these kids can swing. And AJ Preller's been around here, the Padres GM. I think he might sign a couple of those kids. Shannon, can't wait to see the City Connect jerseys on this field here in Mexico City. That will be so special. And we're going to hear more from the players coming up in sports. But for now, on behalf of Shannon, I'm Jake Ariani. We're in Mexico City. We're going to go ahead and send it back to you.
Thanks,
so
guys.
cool that they're down there and being able to see the good being done off the field as well.
I'm glad they look like they're having fun
They
too.
sure do.
I mean, what the team is doing is great.
Yes.
Seeing Joe Musgrove going above and beyond,
Yes.
fantastic stuff. Padres, hope you guys win down there too, right? Still ahead tonight on CBS 8 News at 6, a potential new path to citizenship for essential migrant workers here in the United States.
And straight ahead, a massive attack on a civilian area of Ukraine by Russian forces. The latest details on the deadliest air attack in months.
And nothing but good news in the weather department for you this weekend. Take a look. It's going to be gorgeous with temperatures peaking out on Saturday before we do slightly start to cool off as we get into next week and could see a slight chance of rain. I've got all those details coming up in just a bit.
Plus, death penalty versus life in prison. Which costs taxpayers more? We verify.